Good evening, everybody, and thanks for joining us. I'm Sean Mooney.
I'm Priscilla Casper. We begin with the execution of an Arizona death row inmate. This morning, Clarence Dixon was put to death for the rape and murder of an ASU student.
It is the first execution in 8 years after the botched execution of Joseph Wood, which took 2 hours and 15 injections. Executions had been on pause since. News 4 Tucson's Lupita Murillo is live outside of the Arizona State Prison with the very latest. Lupita.
Sean, it took 11 minutes for Clarence Dixon to die, and yet it took 44 years for the family of Dina Bowden to see justice served.
Let me tell you just a little bit about Dina. In 4 words, she was kind and hardworking.
Leslie James says her sister was just 8 credit hours shy of getting her degree at ASU. The university gave Leslie her diploma posthumously 2 years ago. Dina died 44 years ago at the hands of Clarence Dixon. Today, Leslie saw him die.
It was way too long. This process was way too long.
She also gave some interesting numbers, such as 17 minutes for the jury to find Dixon guilty, 13 women Dixon victimized, and 43 hearings she's attended in the last 20 years. This was Taylor Taster's first time at witnessing an execution.
A lot less than what I was expecting. He took a breath in, opened his mouth, and that was about it. There wasn't, once he had been injected, there wasn't really any movement with his hands or anything, so.
Her sister told us, quote, "The world lost a good one when Dina was taken." And coming up at 6 o'clock, how this execution differs from the botched one in 2014. Reporting live from Florence, Lupita Murillo, News 4 Tucson.
Some death penalty opponents protested the execution this morning just outside of that prison.
News 4 Tucson's Eric Fink continues our team coverage tonight. He also joins us live in Florence with the story. Eric.
Priscilla, good evening to you. The death penalty has been one of the most controversial practices in our nation for decades. And this first execution here in Arizona in almost 8 years wasn't without criticism. There was a small group of protesters making their voices heard right across the street today. Clarence Dixon was sentenced to die for killing Dina Bowden 30 years after he committed the crime. His last appeal was denied this morning by the U.S. Supreme Court. We spoke with a Tucsonan who drove up today to speak out against Dixon's execution.
I am strongly opposed to the death penalty. I don't think taking a life is proving anything. And I know that it has been 8 years since we've last had one, and we had a big fail.
And Clarence Dixon is the 38th death row inmate here in Arizona to die in an execution since 1992. We're going to have more on this coming up at 6 o'clock. We're live here in Florence tonight. I'm Eric Fink, News 4 Tucson.